It went.
No, it didn't.
Oh, video clip playback failed.
Oh, well.
That's awkward.
Hey, ho!
Hey, look at that.
Welcome to the
It
show.
worked when I tested it. Hold on. Can I try it?
Sure.
All right. Here goes nothing.
It's the opening.
It's Tuesday afternoon, and you know what that means. It's time for Randomity with the Random Christian Show. Today, the Random Christian Show is interviewing Pastor Jonathan O'Reilly. The Random Christian Show is brought to you by Mrs. A's famous Salsa Buena, a unique blended salsa loaded with cilantro and just the right amount of heat. Mrs. A's famous Salsa Buena is available in stores across Northern California, Colorado, Nevada, and Southern Oregon. To find a store near you, just visit mrsafamous.com. The Random Christian Show is proudly supported by The Advisor. The Advisor is a Facebook group created by Colonel James Neal Broadus, composed of multi-talents such as actors, directors, artists, writers, and more. If you fall into this category, contact them on Facebook at The Advisor. The Random Christian Show can now be seen on the Good Wives Network, TV for women by women. The Good Wives Network starts streaming soon over on Roku, Android TV, and Amazon TV. Intro music provided by the Dead Campers. Check them out on Spotify and at deadcampers.com. Next week, the Random Christian Show is interviewing Fancy Michelli from the Good Wives Network. My name is Andy, and now here's your host, Christian Random. Maybe I just had the magic touch.
I guessed because it kept saying fail on me. So, but
That's so weird.
oh, it's my teen years all over again. just having my dad there going, "You're a failure. You're
Right.
worthless and weak."
Yeah,
I'm
thanks.
sorry, Dad.
Thanks, Restream. Can we get a kickback on that therapy bill when we get it?
Oh, the flashbacks are horrible. Speaking of flashbacks, it's Tuesday again, which means it's time for the Random Christian Show. That's
Time for
right.
us.
TRKS. That man right there, that's Andy.
And that's Christian.
I'm just Christian. That's all.
Yeah,
It is. Just
right.
Christian. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Straight up Christian. No random. Nothing.
Right.
Just me and my friends.
Did
Speaking
you ever
of
watch?
friends,
Did you ever watch Will and Grace?
oh
Just
yeah,
Jack. Just Jack.
oh just oh yeah. I watched that. Yeah, Jack was quite entertaining as a
Right. Yes.
him and Karen,
Karen.
the
So
kid.
good.
That, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that lady nailed that part.
Oh yeah.
Just amazing, and reminded me of some of my friends' moms back in the day. So,
Right.
yeah, what's going on here? What do you got going on here? I don't know. Well, you need to fix this. Okay, let's just go on now. Go. Okay. So, I did that a little too well, didn't I?
Pretty good. Not
Yeah.
bad at all. Yeah.
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 When I creeping myself out now. Hey, nice shirt there, Andrew.
Nice shirt yourself there, mister. I know. Look at this.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey,
Hey.
and you could have one your own there if you're interested. Hit me up at the Random Christian Show at gmail.com and we'll get you set up with one of them or one of
Okay,
these fancy dancy hands.
I have to ask. You're wearing the hat. You're wearing the shirt. Are you also wearing the underwear?
No, that's on back order.
Okay. All right.
No, dude, we're podcasters. We're naked from the waist down. So,
Well, you might be.
Okay.
No,
I threw up a little bit in my own mouth.
I have
so
to.
that's fine.
I have to sit in this chair most of the day. I try to keep it as clean as possible.
Yeah, no, that's probably a good idea.
Right. Yeah.
I did shower though, so that's
good.
always-
We're making progress there. That's great.
yeah, we're moving along.
No, that's good. Yeah, that's a big step for you.
Speaking of moving along, yeah, we've started a lot of little fun segments on this show.
Yeah, last week you taste tested tangy ketchup Doritos.
Yeah,
and you can still taste them, can't you?
it kind of. I was gonna say there's still an aftertaste.
Yeah.
Some kind of chemically imbalanced ketchup and corn chips.
I don't. And so I decided I wanted to join in the fun a little bit. So I found Wavy Lay's
Yes.
Cuban sandwich.
Yeah, and see, these sound absolutely yummy.
They
I'm
do.
hoping. I really hope they are, because if not, I'm really gonna enjoy watching you.
Right. Yeah, right.
Oh! But yeah, it's become kind of a new fan favorite that we're finding out. And yeah, next week I've got a. Oh, I'm not even gonna talk about it.
Don't
But
don't even
got a
tease
little
it.
got a little
We could tease it.
surprise for y'all next week for my taste test.
Yeah, when it comes, I think you need to tease it then. But
yeah,
until it comes,
I'll tease it throughout the week.
Right.
You
Okay.
know, as
Yeah.
to what it
please,
might be,
'cause-
and then
Ooh.
make sure to tune in
Oh.
and be prepared to vomit.
I'm already a little sick.
I know. I'm really dreading it. I don't know why I do this. But needless to say, you have a very yummy option there that I'm very intrigued about. Frito-Lay's Cuban sandwich potato chips from our good friends at Frito-Lay's. And, oh, and they're wavy. See,
they're
that's
the wavy
even a
ones,
bonus.
which according to my sister-in-law are the only acceptable kind of Lays.
Well, see, I'm a big wavy chip fan myself, because they're a chip. The other ones just become crumbs real easily, and they're not as fun.
Although there's something to be said about the classic Lays, just the classic Lays. But like if you're dipping chips, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't. Classic Lay. It needs to be wavy. Got to have a little substance to it.
Yeah, they've gone the way of the dodo. That's just no good that way. So listen, let's watch you.
Okay.
And hear you. And so what you have to do now, remember, you got to open the bag and
and yeah, right. Yeah, we're the full,
like a Tony Montana with a big bag of cocaine.
Right. No, the full sommelier
in your face.
sort of
yeah.
Oh no, there it is. Oh yeah. All right, so okay.
Oh, you're stealing my. Hey, it's the Bacon Whisperer, Tony Adams. He's stealing my move. I've just seen everybody doing that, Tony.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a patented thing. I'm sorry.
I'm smelling everything in here.
I
smell like the pickles. I smell the meat. I smell the bread. I smell the cheese. Like everything is here.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. But Tony, you're gonna need to talk to our copyright department.
Right. Our crack team of lawyers and crackhead researchers. Yeah. All right.
Are we ready for this?
Big solid chip.
So it doesn't look like there's a lot of like flavoring on it. You know, typically when you get your tangy ketchup ones were red. But like this just looks like a chip. I'm gonna.
Okay. So now, but you could discern all those different
I could
flavors.
And for sure. Yeah. No, they're there. Yeah, for sure. All right, we ready?
I would say let's fire it up there. Okay, now you're ASMRing everything.
Yeah. All right. So it's not the kick in the face flavor that I expected. Hold on. I need to.
I was gonna say you got to do another one. Oh, bigger one. There we go. There we go.
All right, right.
The bigger, the better, is what they say.
All right. Oh man. All right. So it scares me that you can put this many discernible flavors into a powder and put them on a chip. Like, are they dehydrating? Are they actually dehydrating these things and putting them in powder form and then just like bathing the chip in these? Or are there like a crack team of scientists that are going after this and like, well, this will make this taste like that. And because like the chip is acting like the bread here,
Right.
but like I get the meat, I get the cheese, I even get the pickle on
I
here.
think they've wonkified it.
No, 100%.
I'm
Yeah.
seriously thinking they Willy Wonkified it.
Cuban sandwich.
And Cuban sandwich, Frito-Lay's or Lay's chips,
Yeah.
with ripples. Now,
Oh man,
okay.
that's
Now,
really good.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say the taste test development team at Frito-Lay's is a bunch of old stoners.
I would agree with you there. Now, this is a limited time flavor.
Oh, there's Matt Sharp. Hey, Matthew.
Matt, hey, great show. It looked like the show was good this weekend, Matt.
Yep. You're just gonna sit here and eat that bag of chips all throughout the show, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say another word.
Okay, but you know how much I hate the ASMR thing.
Oh man,
I know you're gonna do this all throughout the show.
All right, these two very enthusiastic thumbs up.
I was gonna say, so it's a big thumbs up for the Cuban.
So you know what? I mean, like a potato chip is different than a Dorito, right?
Oh yeah.
I think a Dorito, you have an expected sort of flavor, be it the regular or the Cool Ranch, or even some of that extreme stuff that they've done. Like you know what? Like you can pretty much do anything with a potato chip and make it okay,
right?
And make it good.
You have way better chance with potato chip. No, and see, there's also the hot mustard Dorito chip that I'm pretty sure tastes like a swollen foot for sure. Swollen, bloated.
Yeah, no,
out in the sun in an old gym sneaker sock. Yeah, no, that's that would be a bad one. But but we're good with the chips. So
chips
there
are
we
great.
go.
Yeah, these are a winner. So great job.
Well done, Frito-Lay's, for the Cuban sandwich. Yeah, let's give them a little applause there. There we go. And now we're done eating them for now, Andy. You're setting them off to the side.
I did. I set them off to the side. I am going to destroy them when we play Mrs. A's famous ad.
And Tony's saying that the hot mustard Doritos are good and they have a nice wasabi kick. Well, now
do I need wasabi in my mustard Doritos?
Dude, yeah, you need wasabi.
Okay.
Wasabi.
All right. Sure.
Sure. Yeah. Well, let's not get that started because you know me, I'll just do that the entire time. Wasabi. Okay. All right. So now I guess this makes it time for Oh, that's right. I don't have an intro for that, do I?
No, but that's okay.
That's all right. I've got a graphic for it somewhere. Pretty sure I do. Our where is it?
Our random 9?
Yeah, don't I?
You don't have a graphic for the random 9.
Yeah. There it is. There's the random 9 list. I got the crawler. Yeah, because now it's time for the random 9. Oh, yeah. No, I have this.
Yeah, you have that music.
Yes. See, I knew I had an opening segment for this wonderful little bit that we all enjoy so much because today's random 9 list. Look, I've gotten technical. I'm printing things off now.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a clipboard even. Yep, that's right. I'm officially official with my clipboard. So today, we decided to, on the theme of the chips and whatnot, we've got the random 9 rejected Dorito chip flavors. This is all Whiplash from last week.
Yeah.
The barfy, tangy ketchup Doritos. So here we go. Time for random 9 rejected Dorito flavors. I didn't hit the post, but we get
It's
the point.
okay. It's all right.
We get the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, now that that's over with. Oh, there's the big finish. There it is. Yay, big finish. Random 9 list. We're going to start off with number 9, and it's got a little playoff theme to it. It is the NHL locker room and fruit punch combo.
Oh. Like I have a feeling like those just taste like sweat socks, and that's
well, I'm thinking, or Hawaiian punch, I think is what they were going for. Hawaiian punch.
Sure.
And NHL locker room, little fisticuffs on the ice and whatnot. It's playoff season, so you got to go for it.
Yeah.
All right, so that was number 9. Andy. Number 8.
Number 8, and I will lose my standing in the Greek community for this. Feta and olive Doritos. No, just don't. Just don't.
That's a big rejector on you. It could be big over in Greece, though.
No, you know what? They would probably be huge, but not in this household. I can't stand them.
So it's a divisional, regional kind of thing.
It must be, but I mean, yeah, my family would probably love it, but not me. Oh,
yeah, no,
just saying it makes me ugh.
Gives you a little oogie.
Yeah,
a little yeah. Not gonna do. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of interested. I'm intrigued, but
All right. Okay.
I'm not Greek. What do I know?
No.
Number 7, random 9 rejected Doritos flavors: squid and anchovies stir fry.
Oh God.
Yeah,
like just imagine like the saltiest, most offensive assault on the senses.
Just the smell of the bag. I'm sure that you can't even seal the bag well with that.
Like it would taste like it would taste like acid. I feel like
tastes like low tide and acid,
right?
And probably the bottom of a boat on your tongue. Just okay. I've been there, done that.
There you go. All right.
So the number 6 random 9
rejected Dorito flavor, burnt bacon with maple syrup.
Oh, Tony Adams.
Tony, yeah, we're probably upsetting Tony with that one, but and I'm not talking about crispy bacon. I'm talking about burnt, like blackened.
Yeah, the I forgot about the bacon in the pan thing. And actually,
give it to me, Tony.
Tony Adams, the bacon whisperer. He actually made his own bacon over the weekend, and
really?
Mighty delicious.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So all right, random 9 rejected Dorito flavors. Number 5, burning tire with sriracha.
Oh gosh.
And as much as people like sriracha, I'm not sure that would be a big seller, but
it probably doesn't pair that well with burning tire.
I
don't think so.
I guess it depends on the tire.
Right. Yeah.
Some people really like sriracha.
Yeah.
My wife loves sriracha. Buys pretty much anything with sriracha on it. Oh, let's just try it.
Do you have the gallon in the fridge, like the full gallon of sriracha in the fridge?
No, but we have a healthy size bottle. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Okay. So, all right.
Okay. Number 4.
Engine coolant ranch.
I'm like engine cool. What?
Because the Dorito flavor is Cool Ranch, so I thought it would be funny to make engine coolant ranch.
Yeah. Our crack team of researchers.
Right. Yeah, I thought it would be funny.
They must have dug through the bottom of the barrel over there at the Frito-Lay plant, which there is a Frito-Lay plant out here in Kansas City, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's out in Topeka.
And you couldn't find the Cuban sandwich, huh?
I guess it's a regional thing. They test it out in different markets, is what I found out, by the way.
Okay, yeah, Mid-Oregon, big Cuban sandwich community.
Yeah. A lot of Cubans out there going, hey,
Yeah,
we need our
yeah.
sandwiches.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, number 3, random 9 rejected Dorito flavors. Iron bat with sour cream.
You had to put
Nothing
iron.
like-
You had to put iron in front of bat, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Because it's an iron covered bat with
Sure. Okay.
sour cream.
All right. Yeah.
'Cause if you're a bat, you'd want your Iron Man suit on. Moving on to number 2, random 9 rejected Dorito flavors.
Day old egg salad with blue cheese. Like I can smell the bag when it opens up. Like you can smell day old egg salad like pretty much from anywhere in the house, even if it's sealed in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And I could just imagine that on a chip.
No.
No.
Definitely bad.
Yeah.
Definitely bad. No,
Definitely
no
bad.
day old egg salad with blue cheese.
No.
Never on a Tuesday. No. Never on Wednesday either. All right, so that was number 2. So now we are down to the number 1 random 9 rejected Dorito flavors: smoked Carl Gottlieb and lime.
Oh.
Just
You
can't
really got to
rid
get
of
over that. You got to get over
the
that, interview,
old
man.
Carl
Come on.
Gottlieb.
Come on, Christian.
Gotta let it go.
Let
I
it
wish
go.
our crack team of researchers would let that one go, but
Yeah, they're really badgering.
Unfortunately,
They're really badgering you with that.
they just can't let it go. They can't turn it loose, just like the song. There it is. 9 random rejected Dorito chip flavors that really just kind of brought it down. All right, but you know what? Now it's time to bring things back up.
There we go.
And back into the fun. That's right. Wrong button. Why isn't it playing? Oh, there. Because we're going to get to the bottom line.
Oh, yeah.
With our guest that we brought in. This guy is so great. He's fun to talk to. He's an amazing preacher. He's just got skills. He's so entertaining. He just makes you want to go read the Bible and listen to God and talk about it all day long. Plus a little bit of sports mixed in with it as well. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to bring the bottom line with Pastor Jonathan O'Reilly.
Hey.
There he is. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Oh, doing better now that we're done with our 9 random rejected Dorito flavors bit thing.
Yeah, I normally would eat dinner, but after hearing that list, I don't have an appetite. So.
No, this is our weight loss prevention.
Well, then
program.
we've done our jobs.
It's a good way to diet, I suppose.
Yes, or just die.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Without
that
the
too.
tea. Well, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, because you are a very, very busy man. You're the executive pastor over at The Rock.
That's right.
The Rock of KC church here in northern Kansas City. Now you've kind of grown up in this, right?
You could say that. Yeah. I have I've grown up in Kansas City. My parents have been pastors for actually 40 years. So I told them, there's only 2 reasons why you do something for 40 years. One, no one's been nice enough to tell you that you're not good at it, so you just keep doing it, or you're good enough that they let you keep doing it for 40 years. And so thankfully they're in the latter group. They're pretty amazing people. And, the truth is pastors' kids they can be a rascally bunch. It's usually, again, one end of the spectrum or the other. They end up turning into, I wouldn't say serial killers, but maybe, something close, or they end up on the right side of things. So again, thankfully, took a little bit of time, but I got to the right side of things. So,
well, and that was one of the things I was going to ask, because yeah, I mean, my father was Mr. Hardworking, very successful businessman, whatever, and then he had me, which he brought me into the fray as a young child. Yeah, I learned a lot about his business from the ground up, and it went. So now, and I know, lots of kids, especially boys, get rebellious. Were you very much like that as a younger child, or were you fairly?
I was described as a young angel from very early. No, I had some moments in life where I made probably less than ideal decisions, and I think a few times my parents would have liked to go Old Testament, maybe sacrifice me, give me back. But thankfully they didn't. And so I mean, for me, becoming a pastor, I don't, depending upon your context or faith background of, many of us would believe that it's a calling. It's not something that into necessarily because of great wealth or riches. In fact, if that's your intent, then you're not very smart, because that's not why you do it. So for me, it was definitely a calling thing, where I ultimately felt like that's what God had, gifted me as a communicator, at least on some level, and also to be able to help build and lead people and pastor a church. And so it took me a while that I think there's a few times he called me and I just kept hitting decline. Have you ever have people that do that? And so, or reject or send straight to voicemail. But yeah, that, I felt probably, at some point in life, I fought things that, anybody would probably fight at some point, as far as like, I wanted to fight off the idea that I'm just doing this because my dad did it or my grandfather did it, which he actually was a first generation pastor. My grandfather on my mom's side was actually a pastor. So I guess it was a little bit cross bloodline, but yeah, so at about 25, so really it was a little bit later. I went to University of Missouri and was on a different career path, and life happens and things change, and ended up going to Bible college, went out to Seattle, lived out there for 2 years and enjoyed my time there. And it was pretty gray and rainy, but so, life can be a roller coaster, but as long as you're still going, that's the best part about it. You just enjoy the ride.
No, absolutely. And you were talking about being a communicator. You have such a knack for communicating. When you are up and speaking, man, it is it's like watching a good comedian work a room. It's you have a great, and I'm not saying I mean, yes, you have a very comedic flair in some of your approaches on things, but you really have a way of making things relatable, and bringing it more into a down to earth kind of style of speaking with people about the Word of God, and how you approach it. And I mean, you just sit back and it's like all of a sudden you're just like, well, I learned something. How did that happen? And because I mean, you're enjoying it's like we're having this great conversation, and then the next thing you know, I just memorized 5 Bible verses, and wait a minute, I just learned a lesson, and wow, it really is. It's an absolute pleasure listening to you, and the way you approach it. It's just so great. I mean, and your father and your mother both have a very, everybody has their own unique style. Your dad's a lot more nerdy like me, but I mean, still amazing message. But dude, I see, it's like the first time I seen you, I was just like, okay. And I gotta say this because Jonathan is a fashionista. And so Jonathan wears some interesting clothing choices, I'll say. And
that's a kind way of saying it. Thank you. I've heard a lot of things, so I'll take interesting.
Hey, Pastor Curtis also has a few interesting choices.
That's fair.
But no, and so I was like, okay, what's this dude doing? But you got up there, and it's like, at first I couldn't, like, I think it was your shoes for some reason. I'm like, what is he doing? But then I was just like, I was listening to you, and I just got completely lost in everything that you were talking about, and I was just like, wow, and and pretty much everyone that pastors at the church, I get so absorbed. It's like, wait a minute, the worship teams come. No, why are they coming back on? We're really just starting to get rolling, and y'all do just an amazing job. Now, was this kind of a natural thing for you? Were you always such a great conversationalist, or is this something you really kind of developed as you went through your studies and whatnot, or have you all, is this just a regular thing for you?
Well, first of all, thank you. That everything you said was incredibly kind, and I really hope that this is being recorded because I want my wife to hear it. Because
she gave me $5.
Okay, I knew there had to be something in there, but
we had strict talking points prior to that.
Some of the best advice that I was given, probably early on, was just be the same person on the stage as you are off the stage, and if you do that, then everything's going to kind of just more or less flow from who you are. I've been around too many people where, and again, I get everyone's, wired a little bit differently, but,
right.
Some people are great communicators, and then you talk to them off the platform and they're like the most introverted person on the planet. It's almost like, I don't think you even like being around people, which is again, fine. But for me, that was something that I kind of took to heart. And then I heard that, I think John Maxwell is a big leadership guy. He said that, it takes communicators about 6 years to really find their voice.
Yeah.
And so, in year 1, year 2, year 3, I think I probably was maybe like 5, 6 different people, like people that I would, follow and think, well, I can be like them. And so it's probably a bit schizophrenic for anyone in the audience. They're like, well, which version are we getting? And so I think, it takes some time. It's like anything, when you have a skill or something that you're really going after, you want to develop that craft. You want to be able to grow in it and figure out what works and what doesn't work. I wouldn't consider myself like a funny person. I have a pretty dry sense of humor, as maybe you have already picked up on. And, and so I have the ability to maybe be a little bit quick-witted, sarcastic, which again can be a great thing. And then it can also get me in a lot of trouble at times. But I think that's part of the deal where, as a communicator, I've worked with some people and just kind of told them, like, it's a hard thing because some people I think they think they're funny, but they're not really funny. They just maybe have told a joke before, And
are you hinting at something?
Never. I would never imply that. And
I'm just making sure that's
sure. So anyway, I think it's one of those things where, one of the hardest things that anyone can do is listen to themselves after the fact, go back. But it is something that, if you're serious about, developing a craft or wanting to get better, you got to do it. And so I've tried to be pretty intentional with that. And I think ultimately, especially in the context of things like, church and the Bible. And for me, I believe that the gospel is the greatest story that could ever be told. And so if I believe that and have a deep enough conviction about it, I want to make sure that I am communicating in a way that anyone that might be in the room or watching online or maybe listening to the podcast later on would be able to connect on some level.
Sure. Yeah. No. What was one of the earliest criticisms of yourself when you sort of rewatched yourself? Like, what was the one thing that you, or maybe a couple things that you picked up on that you really wanted to work on and figure out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously part of it's just the probably cadence and just fluidity of thought. There were probably a lot of ums and likes and ums and more ums and some point, someone probably thought I needed to be resuscitated because I might have blacked out because of nerves and that kind of thing. But
I think he's stroking out.
Yeah, I think he died up there. But that was a big one. I think that, you know, I actually enjoy writing, and so I would try to write out a lot of things, and I've found that as I've grown, I know that some people still do that. I know guys that have done that, people that have done that for, you know, 40 years. I've found that I'm more, if I can be more bullet point and really go over that, really let that message kind of get in me, it's going to feel a lot more natural when I'm able to communicate that. So you just learn and you know, you try things, and some things work and other things don't work. But that those were probably two of the big ones that, you know, and some of that's just time. It just takes some time to sort it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you said when you were beginning, you were kind of modeling yourself. Now, when I started in radio a long time ago, I tried to model myself after certain different guys, you know, and you know, you end up kind of creating your own style. But I mean, who were some of the first people that you really tried to model yourself out? Who did you really respect as a pastor and a preacher, or just even as a public speaker? Because really, I mean, that's what you're doing is you're speaking publicly, and you know, one of my favorites was always Bill Clinton. He was hot. Always kept things interesting. You always watch that thumb. So
I think that there's a couple guys. No, there's some guys like other pastors that are older than I am, obviously, and I enjoyed Erwin McManus. He's a great storyteller. He's a pastor in LA, and I've always enjoyed listening to him. I still listen to him on occasion. There's a guy named Judah Smith who he's a pastor, but he's a world-class communicator, just incredible communicator. You know, at one point, I thought I could be like Judah. And of course, again, it's like sometimes you have some ideas of what you want, and then you realize, I think this is a really cheap version of that, and I don't want that. And nobody wants that.
No.
So I do love one of the things my wife and I love is stand-up comedy. So there is something to watching those guys that man, as communicators, being able to engage an audience and carry an audience, and it's not the same, but there are some parallels to the communication side. So I love Nate Bargatze. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's if you haven't, he's got a bunch of different specials right now, but his newest one is on Amazon Prime. He's got some stuff on Netflix and on YouTube. Bargatze's great. Obviously, Jim Gaffigan. That style of humor and everything. Mike Birbiglia is another guy who's funny. Obviously, you know, you've got the GOATs, you've got the Dave Chappelles, and some of those guys. But some of the language he uses, I can't use in church. So it's kind of hard.
And some of the topics get a little out of context. And
wait
a minute, we came to church. He's talking about smoking marijuana.
But no, pastor needs to get saved. But
it is that one-way conversation that is a true art, because you do need to keep them engaged for a certain amount of time, and it's funny too, because when a stand-up loses the audience, like you know it.
It's over.
It's over. Like it's over. But I mean, and you can feel it from the crowd, then you can feel it from the comic, and then it just becomes awkward. You know, it's like when I start to go on a rant on this show. Exactly, people lose interest. But no, it's an art that it's so hard to develop, and it's so hard. And the people that can do it well, it's effortless. You know, but there's so much effort that goes into it, and that's it right there. Art. Yeah, that's the deal. I think that's probably as a young communicator, or as anybody that's young in something that they're going after, I think that's the biggest trap, is that they see other people who are amazing or just, I mean, top level, and they're like, I can do that.
or whatever they think, and then they realize, oh wow, there's a lot. It's like social media. It's like everybody sees the highlights of people's life, but they don't see all the behind the scenes that it took to get to that place, you know.
Absolutely.
Or all the outtakes or the bad filters or bad photos or whatever that, you know, so I think that's a huge piece. You nailed it.
Yeah, it's again, learning to have that one, just the one-way conversation, because you're not as interactive as you make it feel. You're not interactive with the crowd. You're just basically up there preaching and giving out the word. And it's like when you first get into radio, it was hard to just sit there and they're like, this is all you got.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, and they're like, just imagine it as a friend. Okay. But, and for some reason it just came very natural to me, but sitting in a booth at midnight by yourself in the dark and okay, we're going to play another jazz song now. And then you just hit the button and that was awkward, but it was kind of fun. So, it's, and then all of a sudden after a while, of course I start becoming way too conversational at points. So it was, this whole process. I mean, now you've got it refined so well. Do you find yourself getting caught up when you're just in regular conversation? Do you tend to get absorbed? I mean, you're a great listener, and I know you need to explain this to your wife, I'm sure, as well, because I have to do the same thing. So, where do you get to the point where you've got to you've got to find a balance? When especially when you're preaching this stuff, do you feel like maybe you almost need to pause for a certain point? And I mean, because yes, again, the public speaking, all that, it's all timing. And it's do you ever lose your sense of timing in the middle of this at all, or?
I'm sure I have. I think, for us, I have the luxury of doing it 3 times over the course of a weekend. So I guess if we're honest, that third service they may get the best, because you do it on Saturday night and you do it again at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning and then 10:45. It's also interesting, and there's of course a spiritual element to it as well. But I think each audience or each service can sometimes have its own kind of feel, and the people in there. I mean, obviously, as people, everyone's dealing with all kinds of stuff. So there's general principles that can be applied or assumed, and yet sometimes there's certain things in the message that really resonate with one group that maybe don't resonate with another. And so that intuitive side and that ability to kind of sense that.
Work the
that's
crowd
a big deal. That's a big deal. Yeah. And so I think that, that obviously has to be a little bit intuitive, but then also I've got people that, I'm able to say, hey, tell me what was there anything that you would change, or was there anything that you felt was like a really strong point that maybe I could have stayed on that a little bit longer, or was, I always try to incorporate some kind of story, because I do think that is story. I mean, not to compare myself to Jesus, but Jesus was constantly telling stories. He was using these.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I think it connects with people. It engages with people. It gives them like really clear kind of parallels and just
it makes it relatable.
Exactly. So, I think that's an art. There's guys that obviously, you want telling a story, and there's other guys you're like, just show the video. Just please, just show a video. Like it's gonna hit way better,
trust me, just let the tape roll, please.
Just let the video speak for itself. Don't even,
love of God, just shut up and hit the. It's like Andy at the beginning of the show, just hit the button.
Right. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Start the show, and then it says tape failed. So, okay. So, and now this is a sub clause to the question. Do you have a little bit of a backup always in your head with because you said you've got to kind of adjust to the crowds and whatnot, or do you basically have one set message and you just kind of got to roll with the punches and improv a little bit, or do you still have kind of a backup in your head or in your notes? I mean, it's fair to say you've got notes. I mean, any
Sure.
smart man would.
Yeah.
Any smart public speaker or whatever. Unlike me, but actually I do have notes today. So do you have something like that as just a backup in case you just feel the room?
Yeah.
And then
That's a great question. A couple things on that. Yes, and that has been something that early on I really relied on that. I really relied on it. The problem again, and I keep going back to like a young communicator because there's a lot of learning that takes place.
Absolutely.
I heard one time a mentor of mine told me you can learn through wisdom or you can learn through experience. One just costs you more, right? It's pretty good advice. And I've had my fair share of both. And so I think that it's one of those situations where I found the more prepared I am, the easier it is to kind of be able to go off the road a little bit, if you will, but then I get back on the road. Whereas if I'm not prepared, a little drift and ends up leading me to a place that I didn't have any intention of ever getting, and then I'm like, where am I? And the reality is just that the people are probably like, where are we? And so
somebody rolled down the window and asked for directions.
Yeah, we need a map. And so there's a lot of things. It's kind of like another mentor told me one time, hey, don't ever deliver something that you haven't developed, because the trap is that you wing something and you might just be good enough to wing it for one time, and then you fall into this trap of like, oh, I just went up and winged that thing. I can do that again. But then oftentimes the second time, third time, one of those thereafter, you just fall on your face, and you don't have to do that if you are able to develop. So it's a long answer to a short question, but I think to the time that you are able to, put in every year, every message, it kind of keeps stacking on each other. And so ultimately you do get to a place where you're able to pull, hopefully, from that well that you've been giving from. At least that's kind of what I'm hoping for. And I have experience. I'm 38. I don't know if I was supposed to say my age, but I'm 38, and so I've had at least a little bit of time. And I'm praying that I have a lot more time to continue to develop and be able to just keep building and stacking on those moments.
No, absolutely. And you've you sound far more wiser than your years, for sure. When you're up there throwing the word out. Now, and you're leading into or you were leading to where some people are just like, you've got comedy wise, you've got guys like Robin Williams who could improv his entire set, walk up there without any idea of what he's doing, and he'll do a 2-hour set, and then you got somebody else who's got to have his at least some kind of set list of what he's going to do and how he's going to do it. You see him look in there, they've always got something that they're referring back to, because they can improv a little bit, but not the entire show. Case in point, and I say this with all great respect, your pops can get caught off on a tangent, but he's also very compelled. But he said he gets caught up with the spirit and stuff, and he's like, I don't know why I'm doing this right now, but I got to do it. I got to say it, and he goes completely off course a little bit of what he's talking about. But you're just like, whoa, okay. And I mean, he's delivered some very powerful sermons, and you're just like, okay. And then he's like, okay, now we got to go rush through these other 15 points that I had. And it's like, oh, wow, okay. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm all cool with it, but then the worship team comes up and you're like, okay, great, here we go. And I always ask them, like, can you just send me your notes on that? Because I really was interested in what you're talking about. So yeah, no, man, it's, I get it. And I think it's great though, when you guys get into that mode and then you just start going off and thinking, okay, well now I got to bring it back in. It's like, no, you were cool going where you're going, but okay, I know you got your thing you got to do. But I mean, it's just so great the way you do deliver your message, and I can tell when you're starting to improv just because I've done comedy, I've done stand-up, I've done improv. So it's like I can see you get in this rhythm, and all of a sudden you're like, I can see you change gears and you're starting to roll with something, and then I see you catch yourself, and it's so funny because I'll just sit there and be like, oh, I know what he's done, and I love it, dude, because it really is. Yeah, I mean, you really do work a room great. And not that you're working a room, but you working your audience, and you're really working, you're feeling your crowd and getting them in the right frame of mind, and you do an awesome job at it. Okay, so enough of the kudos and the the ego stroking and whatnot. So because I've grazed upon some things with you every now and then, just very briefly, but I love throwing these kinds of things out here, and this is the one thing I really wanted to. This is one of the reasons I really wanted to bring you on here.
Okay.
So I just want to start.
I'm a little nervous, but let's go.
I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I just want to start throwing some random questions out at you about the things in the world and whatnot. So for one, what's wrong with kids today?
Well, I have two of them, and I have the same question. I don't have many answers to that.
No, I mean, seriously, do you think that our society is bringing our kids up in the wrong way? Oh, look at Tommy in the green room, lazy.
Yeah. I think that, man, there's a lot that could be said about that question. I think that people are products of their environment, right?
Absolutely.
We are so much of our life and how we operate, how we view things, how we filter things are a direct result of our upbringing and our cultural context and all that. So I think it's such a layered thing. It is interesting to me though, the same generation that is kind of looking back and looking at the generation that's lazy or not hardworking or a snowflake or all the different things that are said about certain people, is also the same generation where there was parents who were trying to give trophies out for everything, right? And so it's kind of like it's such an interesting, again, dynamic when you live in a context where 10, 15 years ago, and maybe the numbers are a little off, but we wouldn't even think about 2-day shipping, right? 2-day shipping like 15 years ago was like, what? Now Amazon in some cities offers same-day shipping, right? And so everything is so easy, like, to get to. Everything there's so much comfort. And listen, I love comfort. Like, comfort's great. I got a really nice couch. I'm going to watch the first game of the finals, Western Conference Finals on tonight. But I think in life, when it's so insulated and everything's bubble wrapped and there's no potential, just no potential opposition, or everything's been so, insulated, where any kind of opposition, you don't develop any muscle, right? You don't develop any grit, or you don't develop any ability to handle adversity.
There's no resilience or anything, man.
Well,
exactly,
so the consequences aren't as great as they were back then. And that's, well, and I mean, and this was the funny thing too, is that my my brother's a stand-up comic, and one thing he said is that, you know, he had a school report he had to do, but he could only do it on something between A and F because that's when we stopped ordering encyclopedias. Right. You know,
yeah.
And so, right.
Fair.
And so, you know, today everything's here. Like I could sit in my chair and after 2 minutes, I could tell you everything you wanted to know about a subject or something.
Oh,
right. And did we just lose him?
I don't know. Jonathan?
See, this always happens when I start talking. This always happens when I start talking. I had something really great to say too. And there we go. There we go.
Not sure.
Well, his internet died out. He went.
Looks
to the
like
red.
his signal maybe shut down. We are. Well, you know what? This is a perfect time. And hello, Leah Guayo. Thank you so much. Something is up with the audio on my end. Okay, so we've got a little technical difficulty. This is a perfect time to run our commercial of our wonderful sponsor, Mrs. A's famous Salsa Buena. So why don't you guys check this out? We're going to see what we can figure out with Jonathan here real quick. Hey-o, do you like salsa? Are you tired of pretending you like what the mass-produced companies are giving you? Well, now you don't have to. That's right, Mrs. A's famous Salsa Buena is here to treat you right. They got 3 flavors like medium, hot, and salsa verde, all made with fresh, all-natural ingredients in a unique blended, authentic salsa with fresh cilantro and no onions. That's right, no more onion breath for you. It's the perfect complement to your favorite foods like burritos, steaks, flautas, nachos, enchiladas, chicken, and of course, chips. But there's so much more. Mrs. A's famous Salsa Buena has gone from a reward for her students now to the shelves in over 500 stores in California, and now it's expanded to Oregon, Nevada, Wyoming, and soon across the US of A. Amazingly fresh, all-natural, authentic, and delicioso, Mrs. A's famous Salsa Buena is near you. To find out where, go to www.mrsafamous.com, and you'll also get some great recipes, info, and so much more. Mrs. A's famous Salsa Buena. Reward yourself and eat buena. And we're back.
Hey, we're back.
We're back. Here we go.
All right.
Okay, no more alien robot audio.
Yeah, that was actually kind of terrifying.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm not
I
sure what
don't
happened.
know what you're talking about, Jonathan.
I'm gonna blame it on AI. Maybe they took over.
There you go.
But
there you
yeah.
go. But to my point where I was going earlier is that the consequences aren't necessarily there anymore. And to your point about every kid getting a trophy, you know, when we were in sports growing up, you know, not everybody got trophies, and you saw the other kids get trophies, and that made you want to get the trophy. So what did we have to do? We had to work harder. We had to practice longer. Right. I had to learn how to pick up a ball and throw it to first without, you know, underthrowing it, overthrowing it. Right. And make sure I had to learn to hit better. And that was the whole thing. And so, yeah, these days there's, you know, the expectation that no matter how bad or how good I'm going to play, I'm going to come home with something.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of the rib with kids today, is that no matter the effort that they put forth, they will get rewarded, where that wasn't necessarily the call with us back then.
Right. Yeah. I think, I don't know if you have any more to say on that. I think, that social media is another thing that is going to, and we're starting to see, but I just, man, I've got two kids, one that's 8 and one that's 11. And, I think, again, you learn from people that have been through it before. The worst advice that you could ever, go out and seek is like somebody that's in the exact same situation you're in at the exact same moment. You want somebody that's actually, been through the thing that you're going through, and come out on the other side, right? And so, we've been talking to a lot of people that have had high school kids and middle school kids and whatnot, and just asking them, hey, what, like, your experience with phones and social media and all that. All of them, like, basically are like, in Billy Madison, when Adam Sandler's like, they're asking him how high, do you remember you've seen Billy Madison?
Oh
Yeah.
God.
And he's like, the kid's like, how's high school, Billy? He's like, never leave. He's like basically grabbing the kid, like, never leave middle school, whatever. And so it kind of is what it's felt like don't ever give your kid a phone or social media if you can withhold that. And so, I just, there's just so many things. I mean, you're starting to see these studies about anxiety and loneliness and despair. And I know I wasn't the first one that said it, but even like a few years ago, I'm like, social media is such a weird thing, because it's like, for as connected as, it's trying to make us, this society has been more disconnected. There's never been more people that, because I think it's a comparison trap. People are, seeing all the great things. Again, it's the highlight reel. Like, so if you don't have the proper filter, and kids don't, because they're not smart. They don't like, I mean, and adults aren't either. Let's be honest. Like, so many people, they're looking through the wrong filter, because it's just like, I want that, or I wish I had that, or why don't I have that, or they're comparing themselves to, they're looking down on people. So
and I think that's a lot of the problem with our society today, is everybody's trying to keep up with the Joneses and the commercialism of, oh, you've got to have this new car, you've got to have this house this way, and now your house has to look like this, or you're wearing those clothes, and which, I mean, style has been developed throughout the ages and whatnot, and there's so many different influences, and kids nowadays, they've never been more isolated in their life, yet so connected all at the same time. And it's very confusing. I mean, you want to talk about a confusing day and age. I thought, trying to figure out how to ride my bike down the street was confusing when I was a kid. Of course, I got lost in my own bedroom, but there was, I mean, nowadays it is crazy. All this information that is thrown at them to make them feel like, yes, oh, you've been given so much, and you have all this available to you, but yet they sit in their room, or they sit on a couch. They don't talk to anybody. They don't do anything. They just sit there and focus on that phone. And I'm telling you, man, I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. And I did the other day at work. One of the guys was saying, oh, my kids were talking about how they were so bored, and he's like, go outside, go play. Why? There's nothing to do. You have a swing set, you have a bike, I mean, things that we valued back in the day, that you had to use your imagination with and stuff. That doesn't happen anymore. Kids aren't even given the chance to develop their imagination. They're just given ideas that somebody else has already thought of, that makes them think that they're doing their own thing. It's crazy.
No, you're right. I see that. Is it VJ Dunn?
Yes.
Like she posted something, and she's right. The reality is there's something to being able to be content, and this goes for a kid or an adult. Like, when you have a sense of gratitude for what you have, it's so much, it's easy to look at all the things that you don't have, right? It's easy to look at all those things. It's kind of like, sometimes at church, we're guilty of it. We're like, man, we had a great weekend, all these people. And then we start immediately thinking about the people that weren't there. And it's like, man, what, like, hold on a second. There's hopefully a part of you that wishes they were there. Like, just like at a party, you throw a party, and, you got 100 people show up, but then what, after the party, it's like the 10 people that didn't show up are the ones that are on your mind. So I think for any of us, we have to just take that 10 steps back, or 2 steps back, or however much perspective you need, and just be grateful for, the people that were there, or the things that we do have. And the reality is, again, everyone's in a different place, but there's plenty of things that, on any given day, you could just stop and take a moment and just, hey, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for, whatever it may be. And,
Right.
and that gratitude is really, it can be something that is just a direct opponent to that discontentment or just even constantly, seeing what you don't have. And so I think that's a big part of it too.
Right. Well, now, and this was leading into some other stuff that I wrote down. Do you think that this world that the world that we're living in nowadays, obviously, it's not God's world. It's being run by the enemy. It's being run by Satan, because of all these constant distractions that we have. I mean, everywhere you turn, there's something shiny and new to make you do this or that, or make you think this and that. I mean, the the path on the straight and narrow is such a hard path to almost see at times, because of all these things that have been thrown to us. And then, there's so many of the new norms and stuff. And, you're talking about, the kids having to deal with the transgenders and all these, you can recognize as a cat and stuff or whatever. And all these things that have just become such a huge gray area. I mean, do you think that this is do you think this is the problem of the parents at this point, or do you think it's just because our complete society has become kind of a meltdown in a way? I think,
Sure.
we just want everybody to be happy, and we want everybody, what, it's just like in sports. There's a winner, there's a loser. Okay. You've got to learn to battle, and you've got to learn to fight for your win. And if you're not fighting for your win, what's the point? Let's make everything a big gray lazy couch, sit on the couch and do nothing kind of thing. I mean, where do we start? Where do we end?
Man, that's a great question. And that is, gosh, there's so many things. Again, not to dance around it, because that's not helpful to anybody. It's very layered, and you're right. At the end of the day, as a person of faith, I believe that there is a truth. There's the truth of God's word. There's the truth of what He's established, and there's a real, like you said, enemy. There's a spiritual aspect. The Bible talks about, we fight not against flesh and blood, but the principalities and the darkness of the evil one. Mm-hmm. And so I think that sometimes it's a good reminder for me. It's a good reminder for other Christians, those that would identify as a follower of Jesus, as a Christian, because it's easy to look at people that are espousing some of this insanity, and that's what it is, insanity. There's mental illness is running rampant. I saw a statistic the other day, and I realized most statistics are made up like on the spot, like 60% of the time or something like that.
Right.
But
that's a great stat, by the way.
I was gonna say,
don't quote me on that. I think Abe Lincoln said that one time on the internet.
That's right.
But
right.
But the something to the extent of like the amount of people that are actually in mental health, they've been checked into a mental health asylum or institute, even like 15 years ago was like somewhere in like the 350,000 number, and today it's like 45,000, right? So it's like we have to be so politically correct, or we have to tiptoe around everything, that we can't even call things for what they are. And like you just said, people are allowed, however they're feeling, that's what they are. Well, that's insanity. Like, I mean, because if we were constantly led by our feelings, I mean, which is again what we're seeing allowed, it's not just a slippery slope. It's a cliff, and it's a cliff that's going to lead people to death. And so, I think more than ever, why, again, as people of faith, we continue to speak the truth in love, which Scripture is really clear about, right? When someone's drowning in the ocean, you don't like throw a life raft at them so hard that it hits them over the head and it just knocks them out so they can die or drown faster. you're trying to give them a life raft so they can get access it, and then you can get them up in the helicopter or on the boat or whatever you may have. And so I think that's for me, that's a helpful way of looking at it, because I don't ever want to get so hard or so calloused where I am that guy that is kind of like, back in my day, or I know I think VJ saying she identifies as the grumpy old lady, get off my lawn. I think that I get it, because I know I talked to my grandfather, I talked to my parents, who obviously generation before me and even before that, and there's part of me that I'm sure if I was in the 50s or 70s, early 80s, like my grandfather, I'd be like, I don't even know how you've made it this far without just losing your mind, having to witness all these different things that are happening. I think that's the really interesting part for, again, looking at people my age that have kids that are 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. Like, this is what they have seen as normal.
Right.
I can't even imagine what in the next 15, 20, 30 years culture, will look like. I think you're going to continue to see more and more of a divide, which, it's never good for anybody. But as a pastor, I'm going to continue to speak the truth. I'm going to continue to stand on the word of God. Ultimately, one, because I believe in it and I have a conviction that it is the truth. And ultimately, I heard somebody say one time, like, God's not afraid of people that are, questioning or doubting or looking for the truth, capital T, because they know ultimately if they really are searching for that, they're going to end up back to him.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's not just some pat thing. Like, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, But I, I've got 2 kids in public school, so I'm no stranger to some of the things. And so we've had to make a very intentional effort of speaking to principals and speaking to teachers and really being able to say, hey, listen, I got 2 kids in elementary school. Transgender conversations have no business happening. And as soon as, and so thankfully we've got a pretty good principal. And he's been pretty open and honest with us about where he's at. And so that is one of the things I think too. Sometimes there's a lot of stuff that's thrown around on the internet and in different places. And again, any of us are susceptible to falling prey to things that are misinformation and what have you. But I think we have to do due diligence and be able to, we can't just, put our head in the sand and, that's a whole other thing. But
but the problem is that everybody gets so caught up in being afraid of offending everyone or upsetting somebody. You know what? Hey, conflict handled the right way is not a bad thing. That's called a discussion.
Right.
And a lot of people are afraid of that. They want to be able to hide behind their phones and say their piece and whatever there and not have to deal with any responses, or they can just delete the response or ignore or whatever, instead of being face to face and saying, you know what, I don't agree with you, and then you know what that goes, well, I don't agree with you about you saying this. Well, why? And then the other guy maybe, well, why do you disagree with me? Hey, you know what? Back and forth. We learn to find out the good and bads about each side and then prove our points. This is what's happened nowadays. And I think it actually started a long time ago. And I know this is going to sound like grumpy old man, but it started a long time ago with the newspaper. People used to get involved in sitting like this and reading a newspaper. Hey, did you hear about this? Oh, okay. And then they go right back to then it became the radio, then it became the TV, then it became our computers. And it's slowly and surely kept distracting us away from each other and to actually listening to each other and conversing with each other and having this kind of discussion. This is one of the things that I love about the form of the podcast, and the style of that is because people do start listening. That's why I love having this chat here. I want people to talk. I want people to converse with us. I want people to ask questions. I'm not afraid of talking about it. At least we're talking about it. That's the first step. Once people start talking and identifying and listening to each other, we open our world up and we start, going, oh, wait a minute. It's not just me thinking this, or wait, maybe I should, check this out. Either way, you're
Right.
opening and it's starting that process that's been lost. And it's like I said, the TV, obviously when I was a kid, there was 3 channels, and you had to get up and turn the TV and maybe adjust the antenna and stuff. Nowadays, you've got internet TV. You don't even have cable anymore. You've got access to millions of different types of distraction, and it's so divisive and so again, going back to just isolating,
Right.
it's very sad. It's everybody's, oh, did you see this on TV? Did you see it? No, I don't even have time for TV. I get to watch what my wife's really watching, and which is fine, really, because I'm kind of over it. I think a lot of, hey, man, I'll go grumpy old man. Back in my day, we actually had entertainment TV, but nowadays it's so much of a replay of everything else that's been out there, and so much of it is just crime drama. It's like, really? Can't we focus on anything fun anymore, or anything, or the competition shows and singing competitions? There's like 20 different singing. Who cares? That's what the radio's for. But anyway, and for those listening on the audio version of this, I've meant to say this a couple times. We're talking with Pastor Jonathan O'Reilly from the Rock KC, a fabulous speaker, just a hell of a great guy. We're having a great conversation here, and we've got some sports that we're going to get into a little later on too, because I know you've got all sorts of NBA knowledge.
I got some opinions, that's for sure.
Yeah. Now you played a lot of sports back in the day, didn't you? You were on the football team.
Yeah, I played football and basketball actually in high school, and had some opportunity to actually play post college at some NAIA schools, but decided to forego that, and went to University of Missouri. And then I was actually, before this was, I kind of glossed over it, but I was an undergrad student assistant on the football team. So I was actually, my trajectory, if you will, was to get into coaching, and I wanted to ultimately college coaching and see what would happen after that. But God, I had some other plans, and like I said, I finally, after rejecting his call, a few times, I decided to answer, and but still love sports, and obviously I'm a pretty passionate NBA guy, and I've been able to coach my kids' basketball teams, and that's been really fun. And so,
nice.
Yeah.
Now, just because I babbled about it do you think that sports is a huge distraction for not only kids, but even parents nowadays? I mean, a lot of people get really wrapped up in this, and they get very divisive, about their teams and their divisions, and oh, well, you're just a pro sports player. You got to go where it's really at, the college. And college is basically just amateur pro sports. That's all it is. I mean, with all the sponsorships and things like that nowadays, scholarships that are being handed out. Let's not get me down that road. But I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what? Quit putting these kids as sports scholarships. Just start an amateur league. Just take them straight from high school, put them in an amateur league. If that's what they want to do, that's what they're going to do. Boom. Let them do it. Win, fail, and then you move to the pro, and then you can go back to going to school later and quit wasting other people's time and money. But I mean, do you think that this is part of the huge distraction nowadays? Because so many people just intensify their kids on playing sports and whatnot. It's like, man, there's so much more you could be putting your kid into.
Yeah. Listen, I think anything can absolutely be turned into a distraction. I not to get like super spiritual, but at the same time, it's kind of part of what I do, so it makes sense.
Right.
I think that I think we don't talk about it a lot nowadays, but like, my wife and I were actually talking about just like idols, right? Like, obviously it's very much Old Testament and whatever, but the reality is that an idol is anything, in the spiritual sense that God says, hey, I want that, and you have to give it over to Him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that could be a lot of things. I mean, let's be honest, it could be my sports intake as far as, hey, do I have to watch every NBA game? No. Do I want to? Sometimes, yes.
Yeah.
Especially in the playoffs. But the reality is that yeah, it can be. And what we're finding, because my son actually does play club soccer. He's a pretty good little soccer player, and so we for us, both my wife and I grew up playing sports and had some opportunities as we grew up, and what I'm finding is that for a lot of people, you do have the parents that are vicariously living through their kids. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
No question.
Lord, yes.
Like, it's not even a debate. You've got some parents though that they have no community of people, and so this whole world has become their community, right? So so that's where they're finding some of their meaning and their meaningful relationships and what have you. And then you've got somebody like me who doesn't have a normal weekend. I mean, we have Saturday night and Sunday morning, and so and I've got a job, a family, and all these different things, and so it was a really cool experience these first couple of years that we've had. And I was really upfront and said, hey, just so you know, we're gonna do everything we can to have our son at these games. I said we're even cool to do one out of town tournament. Like, we're cool with that a year, but he will be at a church service at some point during the weekend, and thankfully we've got 3. We've got Saturday night and 2 on Sunday, so there's some options, but this is a priority for us, and we just want to be upfront with you. And to be honest, what I found is that now it helps that my kid's pretty good, and so I think maybe there's a little bit of margin there. But the coach was like, hey, I respect that, and I appreciate that, and so I think that it's anything done in excess. I you about the rhythm, or you ask about balance, and I've found in my life that balance is a myth. Like, there's never like a 50-50, right? It's always like a 60-40 or a 70-30. I mean, whether it's in a relationship, in marriage, whatever it may be. And so we've found, and it's like a song, it's like a dance. You kind of have to feel the rhythm. You have to be intuitive to the rhythm of maybe like the season that you're in, or the week, or the month, or there's just, but it takes some intentionality, it takes some awareness, and so I think that I think for some people it's a trap, and they think their kid's going to be a professional, and you've seen the number. Again, the statistics, I'm not going to try to make up a number, but it's just such a small number that where a kid is actually going to get to that place where they're going to get paid. And yet people, they fall into it. And I think there's some good-hearted people that are just like, hey, maybe they didn't have the opportunities, but now, as a kid, they're able to resource-wise provide for their kids. But it can be a massive distraction. I mean, we see it in the church all the time, right? Like, we just assume people have left the church, and then we're like, we run into them or whatever, or they show up randomly. And we're like, hey, it's great seeing you. How's life? And they're like, oh, we've been at softball tournaments for the last like 6 years. And we're like, oh, okay. So my favorite line though is I'll see people out, out and about, and it must just be like a sign that I wear on my face of like, they're committed, like, oh, hey, Pastor Jonathan, or hey, Jonathan, or whatever. And like, we missed you guys. We're going to be there next week. And I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, no, you're not. But I always say, well, hey, we're there every weekend, so we'll be waiting for you. Like,
where we're at.
We're always open.
Come on. You know where to find us. So I don't know. I think, again, people are going to make their decisions, and that's the reality. Whatever people prioritize, that's what they're going to do. So if that's
absolutely
something that,
and hey man, there's no way I'm at all perfect at all. I mean, there's some times where, I can't make it to church. Hey, when I'm at a church, I get sucked up into different worlds and stuff. And I mean, yeah, you want to talk about a weird weekend. I basically have one day, to be with my family, and then I'm going back to sleep early because, I work early in the morning into the afternoon, and I don't have the same schedule as anybody else. I mean, seriously, this is my social party hour time, and then the other rest of it is I get an hour and a half with my wife, and that's about it every day.
Right.
Yeah.
So I totally get the balance, and there's I try to eliminate it, but there is work, Chris, where a little bit different than the rest of the public, Chris. And I mean, I try to be a lot better person than I can be at times. So none of us are perfect, but the fact that we need to keep trying to be better,
yeah, for sure,
is definitely, I think, out there, and I think that gets lost a lot. And I think a lot of people give up. Oh, you know what? I'll be fine. I'll be forgiven. I'll be, that's not really how it works, guys. You gotta, you really got to keep putting in the effort. You got to make the work show and do what you can to help and make it out there. So yeah, it's just such a crazy world nowadays, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. So listen, and I know we're getting short on time, and so anyway, I want to get you in with the sports talk, but we do also have what we like to call
questions of insanity.
That guy.
We'll find him one of these days.
He likes to come out in the middle of the show and yell at us to ask about random questions of insanity. It's a little game that we like to play with all our guests, and we are talking with Pastor Jonathan O'Reilly from the Rock KC out here in Kansas City, Missouri. We've got just a few more minutes with you, so I want to run this by you real quick, and it's a lot of fun. It's nothing short of psychiatric, and basically it just lets us know if you're nuts or not. So would you like to play?
I'm in.
Yes.
All right.
See, there's question number one failed. Right on.
Okay.
Okay. So with the random questions of sanity, we have two base questions that I think you'll work very well for on both of these.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. The first one is, what is the best James Bond film?
Ooh.
Oh
man, you guys are gonna judge me really hard. Because
No.
Like, no. There is no judging.
There's no wrong answers here, because let me be honest. About 50% of our interviewees answer this question.
Yeah.
So
like
a lot of people say, you know what? Not a big James Bond fan.
Yeah, I don't dislike James Bond, but I don't know that I would consider myself a fan. I immediately am thinking of Tomorrow Never Dies.
Okay,
but I don't. That's part
right.
of it's the only James Bond I can think of.
Okay.
Hey.
Wow.
Nope.
All right.
But that's the correct answer. So there you go.
Okay. All right.
This one I know you're gonna get. What is your favorite sandwich and what all's on it?
Ooh, my favorite sandwich. Well, if you consider the Z-Man, technically is a sandwich.
Oh, yes. And
so
a lot of people don't know what the Z-Man is. So describe the Z-Man for everybody.
Gosh,
this is a Kansas City staple.
I wasn't hungry after I heard your nine different crazy cocktails of chips.
Cocktails of chips.
So the Z-Man is arguably the world's best sandwich. It's a barbecue sandwich from Oklahoma Joe's, also referred to as KC Joe's.
Yeah.
But OGs call it Oklahoma Joe's. It's served in a gas station. It's brisket. It's got provolone. It's got a fried onion ring. It's 12,000 calories, but it's worth every bite.
And it's so
and you can have choice. You can have pickles on there if you want, and then of course you just drench it in KC Joe's spicy Night of the Living Dead barbecue sauce.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Your life is gonna be forever changed. I don't I now need that right now.
Whatever we're gonna have for dinner is not going to be good enough.
It's not even
my wife is an amazing cook. Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude!
Just a side note, just a little random fact. Anthony Bourdain, that OJ's got the bill of like places to eat before you die. Anthony Bourdain, which rest in peace, he said OJ's is the plate. You got to go there.
Oh wow!
So,
yeah, no.
Any of your listeners have never been, it's time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you are ever in Kansas City, I know everybody's like, "Oh, Gates," then history and blah blah.
Fine.
Nah, go to OJ's. Yeah, Oklahoma Joe's. That's the way to go. Or
KC Joe's. Yeah.
KC Joe's. All right. Andy, go ahead and hit him with one.
Yeah. What is the one song when it comes on the radio that you just have to sing, no matter what?
No. Oh gosh. This is terrible. Why I don't know why the Cyndi Lauper "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" immediately came to mind, but we had some friends in college who just blasted that.
Yes.
It's permanently embedded in my mind.
That's great.
Oh my god!
And I have a daughter, and so it's just like girls just want to have fun.
Sure,
it's fine.
Oh yeah,
it's a fun song.
Yeah.
Nope. Absolutely. Nope. And again, that's the correct answer. What is the better pet? What is the better pet? Which I'm pretty sure I know this: cat or a dog?
Well, I don't even consider one of them a pet, so a dog is the only valid answer.
Oh wow! Wow. Okay.
Sorry.
The O'Reillys are huge dog fans.
Right.
Yeah, we love dogs.
Or anti-cat, I guess. All right, Andy.
So this might be a hard one given your status in the community, but
wait, what are you going to ask? Well, don't get me in trouble, bro.
No. If your food is bad at a restaurant, do you send it back?
Ooh. You know what? I feel like philosophically, yes, because you're paying for it, and if it's bad, I think there's also levels of bad.
Sure.
I'm outing my deceased grandmother here, but she was notorious for like eating a meal and then being like, "I didn't like this," and sending it back. And so I don't really. That always bothered me. But as a young child, your words have no weight, so you can't say anything.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. If it's bad enough, I'm definitely sending it back.
Okay.
Right. Nope.
All right. Okay.
There we go. Okay. Let's best music genre.
Ooh. Best music genre. I'm pretty eclectic when it comes to music. Hip hop. Listen to a decent amount of like hip hop and some rap.
Right.
Okay. Outside,
well, and like
outside, I know it's like, yeah, probably not what you were expecting, but I like some. I like some OG, like Kanye West, Kendrick Lamar. I kind of mess around with that. So I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nope. That's well, unlike Tommy's saying here in the green room, 80s. Like 80s covers such a broad spectrum.
Yeah.
Because there was hip hop, there was heavy metal, there was pop, there was alternative, or new wave back then. So you had this whole big mix, and everybody just got along with it. It was great. All right, Andy.
Yeah, it's your night to order pizza for the group. What are we getting?
Oh, right now I love like a good jalapeno pepperoni. So I'm jalapeno pepperoni, and I've got this hot honey that I drizzle over that, and then some like red pepper flakes. Like I like spicy. I like hot stuff, and that's kind of got like that's the deal. So if you don't like hot, you're not gonna like that pizza, but I like it.
Thick or thin crust?
If I have to choose between one of the two, I'm going thin. I don't really like a real thick crust.
Sure.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. No.
Right. Deep dish is not my thing. I don't. Chicago can keep their pizza.
Yeah.
Okay. Quality or quantity?
Probably quality. I'm gonna lean quality. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm down with that. Yep. All right, Andy. One more.
What is the biggest pet peeve you have right now?
Being on this show.
My biggest pet peeve is people that drive with mask on with no one else in the car.
Oh my God.
Yes, thank you. Somebody said it.
Yes.
Somebody finally said it.
I just can't. I can't wrap my mind around it.
Right.
Dude, it's it just makes you want to do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little Wilhelm scream. All right. Let's finish it up with this one. You have 30 seconds to tell the world something. Go.
Oh man. I would say that there is a God who has created you, and He loves you, and He desires nothing more than a relationship with you. And He's a good God. He's a good Father, regardless of the father that you had here on earth. There is a good and perfect Heavenly Father who he's got a great plan and a purpose for your life, and He's not going to impose Himself on you, but He's going to invite you into a relationship with Him. And from experience, it's the best decision, and it's the most important question that you'll ever answer as to who is God, who is Jesus to you. And I would love to be able to have more of a conversation with you on that, if you'd allow me.
Yes, absolutely. Well said, sir. I'm trying to click the bell as many times as it will let it go. All right, man.
And also keep listening to the Random Christian Show. That would be the other thing.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes. Aha. There we go. Hey, Jonathan, I know you've got to get running, man, and I really appreciate you hanging with us for as long as
Of course.
This was awesome. I'd love to have you back on sometime. We get a little more
Let's do
philosophical and just go a little more nuts with some stuff. If you're game for that, we would love to have you back on. Again, Jonathan O'Reilly from the Rocket KC. He's the executive pastor there. Yeah, I wanted to get into the role of what an executive pastor does, but we'll do that next time.
Next time, man. I'd love to do it, and I want to talk sports too next time.
We will. I'm sorry. I know we kind of ran a little late, so
it's all good.
I apologize.
Great being here.
But
no worries at all.
Jonathan, thank you so much for being a part of this and being with us, man. Thank you so much. And again, you'll be up there preaching again here soon. So thank you so much for being a part of that. And I'm trying to get there's your music. Good Lord. All right, now it's your exit music, sir. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, guys.
Have a wonderful day. Peace out, brother.
Thank you,
my man. All right. Oh gosh, that was awesome. He's such a great guy. Seriously, if y'all get a chance, come out to the Rocket KC. Listen to these people preach the word, because it is they do just all absolutely amazing jobs, and it is so just wonderful to hear. You seriously get caught up, and then all of a sudden you're just like, where are we in? What's going on? Where are you at? We'll get into we'll bring him back. In fact, I'm working on actually getting his pops, Pastor Philip, on, who we've had on before. And here, okay, big audio dynamite. We're done with you. I spoke with past guest Sam Quasman. Mr. Donald Duck and Little Quacker.
That's
and
right.
all sorts of little voices. He actually got on TikTok, and I saw him on there, and I shot him a message. I was like, "Hey, Sam, man, we miss you on the show." He was like, "Well, invite me back on."
That's
I was
great.
like, "Okay." And then he did Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, you're coming back on the show, man." So
that's
we're gonna get that worked out. So Sam Quasman, the voice of Donald Duck and all him, will be back on the show here soon. But you know what? We got to get back into our sports here.
Let's bring it.
Well, I'm trying to find the intro because
I don't know. You seem to have problems clicking videos.
Do you like sports? Do you like your sports in your face? Do you like to know the truth about your sports? Well, now it's time to get real and get truthful with all things sports. That's why now, on the Random Christian Show, it's time for the man, the myth, the one who brings sports all to the interweb world. it is time for Tommy the Truth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a little long on the outro, but
A little
that's
bit.
fine.
I can tighten that up.
Where is he? Where? Oh, he's
Oh,
look at him
he's doing his
typing.
work. Hey.
No, he's not. He's just playing Angry Birds or something.
I'm just jacking around, just messing with the phone. But
Right.
Tommy, how you doing, buddy? Welcome back to the show, my friend.
good. Got some NHL. I don't know. Are you guys fan of the NHL? Do you watch it at all?
I don't even get to watch anything besides this show.
It's been a while for me. I used to work for the radio home of the San Jose Sharks.
Oh, right. Okay.
Back when they were hitting the playoffs every year, so that was exciting back then. But it's been a little out of sight, out of mind for me, especially since I left the area. So
yeah.
Well, I tell you what really impresses me. What really impresses me is that these first-year teams, like the Seattle Kraken, they lost last night 4 games to 3. They lost to Dallas.
Yeah.
But these expansion teams are coming in immediately and making an immediate impact. The Vegas Golden Knights 2018 made it to the Stanley Cup Finals in their first year. They're in the playoffs this year. So I'm amazed that these teams can make that immediate impact in the first year or two, where back in the day, Tampa, it would take 5 to 6, 7 years for them to get relevant. It's just amazing the way they draft now. They get these guys from Russia that are like 25 years old and already ready to play. And then these draft picks, it's been pretty amazing the way these teams can make an immediate impact.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It does
absolutely.
make it exciting for sure.
Well, and even back in the day, like the Tampa Bay, the Lightning, it took them 2 years or something to get into the playoffs?
I think it took
just
a few years to get into the playoffs, and then to be more relevant was like 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, but still, I mean, they were a threat. They were a threat when you played them, and it was like right off the bat, I was like, "Wow, man, you're in Florida. What do you guys know about hockey, for God's sakes?"
Right.
Yeah.
It's too sunny. Like, you think that the ice rinks will all melt in Florida, but Florida's in the playoffs this year. It's Golden Knights. They're taking on Dallas, and Florida's taking on Carolina in the semifinals. And I'm going with the Golden Knights made it 2018 to the finals, lost to the Washington Capitals when Alex Ovechkin finally got his first ring. About time. But I'm picking the Golden Knights to beat Dallas 4-2, and Florida over Carolina 4-2. So I got Golden Knights and Florida for the Stanley Cup championship, and I'm going for the Golden Knights to win 4-2.
Ooh, look at you, dude! You're just dropping it all right now, man. You didn't even hold your guns back. You're just like, okay, this is how it's happened. This is what's going to happen. This is how we're going to do it. And there you go. Done.
Well, you know why I'm bragging so much about the expansion teams is because, and I look at this, no teams in Canada or in the semifinals, and that's sad. The last team to win, this is my favorite team, by the way. Montreal Canadiens were the last team to win in 1993 when they beat the Kings. That is the last time a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup final.
Oh,
that's my favorite team, and I will talk about them because they're nobodies right now.
That's why Canadians hate us so much.
Oh, dude.
That's
it. Just blame them?
Yeah, can you think about it? I mean, I didn't think it was that far back, but it was 1993, dude.
That's crazy. That's an amazing stat right there.
Right. Well, now think about this though. Let's put this together, because you're talking about the Montreal Canadiens back in the day. Who was their goaltender?
Patrick Roy.
Roy went to the Avalanche. What happened with the Avalanche?
Won the Stanley Cup championship.
Yeah, like over and over and over and over. I mean, dude, they were unstoppable because of an amazing goaltender. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. You look at Detroit, the Detroit Red Wings. They had Osgood. They had oh my gosh, they've had like 3 really good goaltenders right in a row. And they were unstoppable for a while.
That whole 90s was about the Detroit Pistons taking on Colorado Avalanche. The rivalry, the goalie fights.
Oh, yeah.
Osgood and Patrick Roy, and coming out in the middle of ice and slugging it out. it was all about that in that 90s. And it was a great time to be alive if you were a hockey fan watching that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, dude, that was some of the best. And I'm not an Avalanche fan, and I hate the Red Wings. I'm a huge Sharks fan. But I will tell you I still get chills because I saw that game live. I lived in Colorado Springs at the time, and we were just sitting there. We're like, oh my gosh, they're all going. The goal was coming out of the net. and then he drops his gloves. Osgood drops his gloves. They just go at it, center ice. It's like, what is going on?
It's like the thing you used to play when you were a little kid. It was like Rockin' Sock Robots. Remember that? Pow, 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 pow. And used to play that. It was great.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And the only thing I can say about Montreal, we are the oldest team. We're 114 years old. Okay,
Wow.
we're around since 1909. And we do have 24 Stanley Cup championships to our name, but we haven't done anything lately, so that really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, so it's funny. I was going to tell you about this. So a friend of mine he's a software developer, and he developed what's called the no whine timeline. All right. And if your team wins a championship, you're not allowed to whine for 5 years post-championship about how bad your team is. Now, and it's funny because it stacks up with how many championships that you win. Like New England Patriots fans can't whine for 50 years.
Oh, well, they're gonna. So.
Right. Yeah.
They already are, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. But I just thought this was brilliant on his part, the no whine timeline. And it's great because every championship that happens, he'll update his Twitter and say, all right, the no whine timeline has been updated. You know, you guys, I mean, just like Warriors fans right now can't whine for another like 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, and that's the thing about the Warriors. I saw going to a little basketball really quick. I saw the interview with Kerr after they lost. And he says, we think we're kind of maxed out right now. We weren't really a championship team this year. There's going to be some changes. I think they're going to keep the main two Splash Brothers, but around them, they can put some different guys around them. I really don't think Draymond Green, I'm 50-50 if he's going to be back or not. Just a quick note on that.
I think Draymond Green's had his run, especially with the Warriors. I honestly think if Kerr's smart, which I believe he is, because he was there with the Chicago Bulls when they did their whole, we're getting Jordan's going, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and they were still successful. They had a great team. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to reposition players. I think he's going to trade off some people, free up some money, get some other guys, get some young talent back in there, have them get finessed with the older guys. I mean, Curry, obviously, he's probably never going to get rid of. I think Curry's going to die a Warrior. But, Green's a great player. I mean, he reminds me of the old 80s, 90s defensive power guy that you want under the hoop. Defending, but the rest of the team, I think it's time. Let them go, or move them around, help them develop other younger players, and then develop a new team. I think
they're looking at Green, most of the attitude, like punching out his teammate and kicking someone in the balls. They're kind of looking at that as that's stuff you really can't do anymore. Maybe back in the day you could. I love great defense. I love rebounding. I love block shots. But it's going to be curious to see in the offseason what they do and how they try to they're not going to rebuild. They're just going to reload. But 4 championships, they could have won 6. Usually that you get to that 4th or 5th championship, it's almost like that team. You can almost say the team's time is running out a little bit, but I don't think so. I think they can put some more pieces around those guys, the 2 Splash Brothers, and still make the playoffs and fight for another championship.
Yeah. I think just developing the new talent and whatnot. But hey, who knows? That's why I sit here in a podcast booth and Steve Kerr is traveling the world and sipping champagne and doing what he's going to do. So there we go.
Let's get back to the hockey really quick. I wanted to talk about 8/9/1988. What happened on 8/9/1988?
8/9/1988.
In hockey.
I don't know.
It was Olympic year, wasn't it?
Nope. That is the day where Canada basically wanted to everybody wanted to jump off the roof. That's the day that the Great One got traded to the Los Angeles Kings from the Edmonton Oilers.
Right.
And all of Canada went insane.
Yes.
And he went to the Kings. I saw that. I mean, they won at Edmonton 84, 85, 87, 88.
This is what was going on in Canada at the time.
Edmonton won 4 championships, but he came back without Gretzky.
What's going on?
Yeah. Came back without Gretzky in 1990 and won another championship. But he went over there with the Kings. They made the 93 finals, where my Montreal Canadiens beat them, But that is a day in history in hockey where Canada, like the whole country just died, dude.
And this is what it sounded like in Los Angeles.
Right. Well, they thought, we're bringing the great one over. Zach? We worship you. We worship you, great one. We'll never hit you because we don't want you to get into fights and anything, so we won't touch your face. Basically. But yeah, that's a day in infamy as far as Canada was 89-88. So
yeah. Oh man, good point. All right. All right. So our hockey playoffs, how are we what were we doing again?
Well, the thing is the Golden Knights are playing Dallas. That's in one semifinal. I'm picking them 4-2, and I'm picking Florida over Carolina 4-2. So I got the Golden Knights Vegas playing Florida for the NHL for the Stanley Cup.
But you picked the Panthers, correct?
No, I'm going with the Golden Knights Vegas.
Oh, you are going with the Golden. Okay. That's what I was trying to clarify. Okay. All right. So you've got Golden. All right. I mean, I haven't watched enough hockey over the past couple of years to make a good judgment, so I'm going with you. All right, Golden Knights. Even though they're Vegas, and I hate Vegas and everything there because they sucked in my Raiders and
right. And I think I mentioned this. I think that we talked more in the green room with you earlier, and I think I mentioned that in 2018 when the Vegas Golden Knights when they made it to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
That is in football, baseball, basketball, doesn't matter, hockey. That's the first expansion team to make it to the finals in any sport. Right. 2018. It was incredible.
Yeah. I don't know. I still hate Vegas. Anyway, all right. So now NBA. Let's get back to the presence with the NBA and because that's a little more that's got a lot bigger games going on right now. I think.
Well, what the NBA wants, the commissioner wants, a lot of the fans want this is to go back to the 80s. Let's see the Lakers and Boston's in the final. It's very possible now. We could be going back there. Then you're going to see Kareem show up to the game. You're going to see, maybe Kevin McHale will show up to the game. Danny Ainge. See all these old schools go support the team. I'd love to see that finals just because of the ratings bonanza it will be.
Yeah, there's a lot of
in my heart, but it's because they never won a championship. But that's my sentimental favorite. But I think it's going to be the Lakers, Boston.
Yeah, well, and just think of the pomp and the circumstance around a Lakers Boston.
Oh, dude, yeah,
just think of like the promo packages, the elements, and you get Kareem talking about it, you get Bird talking about it, you get Ainge talking about it, and you see this goes back, this is a rivalry that goes back to the 80s,
it's total. It's total like nostalgia. It's something that we haven't seen since the 80s. These guys haven't met each other since the 80s, I believe. And it's just like, every year I want the Yankees and Dodgers to go to the World Series because they're going back to that 70s feel. But yeah, it would be amazing if that would happen. And there's a real possibility it could. And in fact, I'm picking the Lakers to win 4-2. I'm picking Boston to win 4-2. And they're going to meet in the finals.
Right. And now the Lakers are playing who?
Denver.
They are playing.
Oh, that's right, Denver.
They're playing Denver, which is the young team. They've never been to an NBA championship, and then we have Miami playing against Boston.
Right, Miami. Yeah, no, I'm thinking, as much as I hate to say it, Lakers and I can see Celtics there for sure.
Right.
But just because I think that Miami team, I just don't think they have the follow through. Just from what little I've seen out of it and all the playoff, the clips and stuff. I don't see it all there. I mean, yeah, they're a great team. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think Miami has enough follow through. I think the Celtics definitely have a lot more depth. And their bench is way stronger, I think. Denver, young, yes. But a lot of energy, man. I think that could be a real threat. And a lot of you get, and it's happened before, and I hate to say it because I don't hate to say it because I hate LeBron James. He will underestimate people, and he constantly does it, no matter how many times, and it bites him in the ass all the time. And I'm not saying the Lakers are LeBron James, but they build that team around LeBron James now. And so when he goes south, the whole team goes south. There's nobody there else that's going to pick that team up unless it's LeBron James. So that's the problem there with that. So I think that's going to be a good series to really watch. I think the Celtics are going to take Miami. I'm not saying that's going to be a bad series at all. And nothing against Miami. I just don't think they have the depth that the Celtics do. But your Denver team, it's just a young Spitfire team, man. And
it's the classic youth against experience is what it is.
Right. And they're unpredictable. They're unpredictable, man. They can just charge out of nowhere and take you out. So I think it'll be interesting, especially with the way LeBron has that history of underestimating people all the time. So we'll see. I don't know. That could be a very interesting series. And yes, Lakers and Celtics, and I'm going Celtics because
you're gonna go Celtics. Okay.
Can't stand the Lakers, and I can't stand LeBron James. So there we go.
You're next. Your picks. I'm pointing at you.
Okay, so I'm gonna go less scientific, but I would love to see a LeBron less Miami Heat take out a LeBron Lakers team.
I get you.
And because it was so funny that LeBron had to go to the Heat to win his first championship.
Sure.
So I would think it would be funny if the Heat denied him his last championship.
That would be like a little revenge playing, even though all those players, the coach is still there, but all those players are pretty much gone from the older team. Well, yeah, that would be interesting too.
Yeah. So yeah, but there's no science behind it. There's no that's my pick.
There you go. Okay, so I got Lakers, Celtics, Heat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So, so you're going Lakers, really?
Yeah. After I said I felt whoever wins between the Lakers and Golden State's going to win it all, and I think that's why I picked.
That is true. You were saying that the other week. All right.
I think just that experience, and LeBron's been there, even though he's lost a lot of championships, he's won, and he's. Guy can still play like he's in his late 20s, early 30s when he has to. But then Anthony Davis has to stay healthy. He has to play well too.
Well, and you're going to have to, So, all right. Let's see. What else is sportsy wise going on here? What do we got going on? Is that it?
That's about it right now. Baseball is going on. My Yanks just suck, and I don't really want to talk about them. Even though we've been playing a little good, better baseball lately, but I still want Boone and Cashman gone. I've been telling you guys that. I don't want to see them back. And right now, the Rays kind of own our division, but we're starting to creep up on them. And maybe I'm getting too, I'm not really looking at the big picture when the All-Star break yet, but I just see the way Boone uses too much of, what's that term that they use? Scientific term. Analytics. He's using analytics way too much to me. It's like, analytics paper says I got to take the pitcher out now, so I'll take him out, even though he's only giving up a run. He either leaves the pitchers in too long, or he takes them out too quick, and he uses analytics. Go with your dang gut, okay? And the thing is, he can't go from his gut. You know why? Because he's not a manager. He has no experience to go from the gut. So he uses analytics, everything from a paper. And that's the problem I have with Boone right now.
Yeah. Well, the Giants are still sucking wind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See that? And the freaking Dodgers. Oh, I hate the Dodgers so much.
Yeah.
See, this is the other reason I can't watch sports, because I still got old school rivalries, even though all these players, I'm sure they're great
so
guys.
I want to see. I've told you guys.
I hate the Braves, and they're winning.
I've told you guys I want to see a Yankees Dodgers World Series. I've been wanting to see it for years. I still want to see that. But.
Yeah.
Well, you got both those teams. I hate both of them. Why can't you?
We should have had a Yankees Dodgers World Series a few years ago when Houston cheated, but I'm glad I want
Lois
to go there.
Lois is in the chat. I think that means it's time for you to go home.
I was gonna say somebody's throwing subtle hints. Hello.
Who's in the chat? Oh my God.
Yeah.
To do the Seinfeld.
Mrs. Random. Oh, dinner is
There
ready.
it is.
Okay. All right.
Goodbye.
And with that note, thank you for listening to the Random Christian Show.
Yeah, there it is. Hey.
Bye, guys.
All right. Hey, so next week, Tommy, we're going to follow up with some of your picks. We'll see what's going on and see how close you are, see how close I am, and see how close that guy down there is. And we'll see how we're standing. All right.
Yep.
So, Tommy,
By the way,
thank you so much for
hey.
stepping in with us again, huh?
Tommy, some guy who looks exactly like you killed it in midnight screening, dude. That was really good, man.
Thanks, guys. Oh my God. Thanks. I appreciate it.
That was really good, dude. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah,
so.
I totally forgot that you said it was coming on now. So now I got to go. I got to watch it. When you showed that, I was like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So nope. Fired up to see.
I'll be working with that same director here soon. We're doing another horror movie, but I can't talk about it.
Yep.
Okay.
I know you said you were working on something. All right, guys. So here it is. Tommy the Truth. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week, my brother. Peace out until next week. And now, where are we at? All right. For everybody else who's been joining in with us, thank you so much for joining the chat and talking with us. And Jonathan O'Reilly, thank you, Jonathan, for hanging out with us for the time that you were able to. We will have him back on soon. Let's see. What else do we got going on? Oh, that's right. Next week,
we got Fancy coming
Good
on.
Wives Network.
Yeah.
Where's the?
It's in there.
I know. I'm blind. That's all there is. There's Jonathan. Where's? I don't see it. Where is it? Find it for me, Andy. I'm lost.
Fancy.
Yeah.
There's
Where is
Fancy.
she?
There's Fancy right there.
There.
See?
Where?
There's Fancy.
Okay. Yeah, there's Fancy. There she is, Fancy Maselli of the Good Wives Network that we are actually on.
Right.
It's let's see, they're on Roku, they're on Apple TV. They just signed with Apple TV.
Yeah.
What's the oh my gosh, there's so many.
Roku? Right?
Yeah, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon. Amazon.
Yeah, that's right, Amazon. Yes.
And one other. But
we'll learn all about that next week.
We'll learn all about it next week for sure. Wow. But yes, we are on there as one of their main shows during the daytime. I think we're around noontime is what they said. So you can check us out there as well, kids, if you want to do that. And in the meantime, I guess it's time for us to be moving along. So to everyone out there, hey, I'm not sure who it is and where you are, but we love you because you guys have been jumping up our ratings big time and cannot say thank you so much about it. We're just starting to get a huge response. Me and Andy are actually trying to push on syndicating the show onto some radio stations and whatnot. Yeah. So we're approaching that from that angle. So which you'll be able to hear us across the country as well as see and watch us all the time. That's at least the plan we have.
Right.
These people may have other plans, but until then, kids, take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. God bless you. We will see you next week with Fancy Maselli. Thank you, Jonathan O'Reilly. Everybody have a great week. We love you. Peace out.